Hello bakers, welcome to Le Bon Baker. I'm Nicole and today we're going to be making pie crust, also known as pie dough or short crust pastry. This recipe we're going to be using our hands. Now usually you'd use a mixer or some sort of a processor for this, but not everyone has one of those, so I thought what better way than to do it all ourselves on the bench with our hands. This recipe can be used for pies, tarts, quiches. It's really versatile and I guarantee once you make it you won't be buying the pre-made ones at the store anymore. There's only a few ingredients, so let me take you through what you'll need. We've got an egg here and we're actually just going to use the yolk, so we'll separate that soon. And then we've got a little bit of sugar, and we're not going to use all of this or the salt either over here. We're just going to use a pinch. We've got some butter, some flour and some cold water. And for the exact quantities, I'll leave them in the description below, or you can head to lebonbaker.com for the full recipe. I'm just going to move these ingredients off to the side here because we're going to need to use this bench space as our working area. First thing we're going to do is take our flour here and just pour it all onto the bench top, and we're going to make a little well in the middle. Nice, and make a little well. Next we're going to put the egg, the water and just sprinkle around the salt and the sugar into the center of the well, and then we're going to give it a whisk, and we're not going to incorporate the flour just yet, so watch me as I go. So to separate the egg yolk from the white, I find it easier to crack the egg in half and then use both the shells just to move across the yolk from one side to the other, and as you do that all the egg white will fall into the bowl below. So that's good. One egg yolk right here. Egg yolk, water, give him a little whisk. Give it a little bit more of a whisk, and then we can start to add in our butter chunks. So just place them in the well. If your well breaks, that's fine. In we go. Now what we need to start doing is putting in some of the flour into the center. Not all of it all at once, and then we want to start squeezing the butter and the well. So just continuing to squeeze the butter and the ingredients together, and then try and keep it in the center, and then just keep incorporating a bit more flour and then squeezing again, and just continue this over and over until it starts to form a dough. So as you can see, the dough is starting to come together nicely. All I've been doing is just continuing to add in any of the flour and then squeezing it into the mixture, and then trying to slowly start to form a bit of a ball or a disc. So you just want to sprinkle and squeeze, and then your dough will start to come together. And that's literally it, guys. So I'm just going to now tidy up any of these last scraps around here and incorporate it in. But the dough has come together really nicely. It's nice and smooth. It's quite soft in texture. There's no dry bits. So That'll be really nice. Now what you want to do is kind of mold it into the shape that you're going to use it. So I'm going to use this for an apple pie. So I want to make mine into a disc, and I'm probably just going to flatten it a little bit so it's easier to roll out when I want to use it. So I'm just going to flatten it a bit. So guys, make sure that you do put this in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours before you want to use it. And the reason why you chill the dough before use is because it relaxes the gluten strands, and it's just going to be easier to roll out tomorrow, and it won't shrink while you bake. And you also want to bring it out of the fridge and just leave it on the bench, come to temperature for 30 minutes before you want to use it. There you go guys, how quick and easy is that? Now you know, I bet you won't be using the store-bought ones anymore. It's now ready to roll out. Sprinkle your bench top with some flour. And we'll just place the dough in the center and start rolling it out from the center. I'm also going to lightly sprinkle the top so that my rolling pin doesn't stick to it. So from the center, start rolling out and make your way around. And we want this to be big enough to cover the whole base of the pie dish. Double check the base is rolled out nice and evenly, and you just pick up your dish as well and have a quick look and make sure that you've got enough to cover the bottom and the sides. And that looks pretty good. I'm just going to transfer this into our dish. So just lightly bring back the pastry and then pull it straight into the dish. And just fix it up, place it however you need. Beautiful, look at that. And pastry is really fun to work with, so if you don't have enough, you can cut a bit off one section and then fill it in another. So don't worry if it doesn't go completely around. I'm gonna just do a really quick trim of any excess. Perfect. One more thing, just give the base a little prick all over, and this will prevent it from going soggy. There it is, a really beautiful pie crust made completely by hand. If you're just making this pie crust pastry by itself, it can be used for quiches, tarts, and beautiful pies. Thank you so much for joining me in the kitchen today. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Le Bon Baker, for all tips, tricks, and recipes for the home baker.
How's it go?
Is it annoying?
Yes, it's annoying.
Good.